morning, y'all. So before I start, I want to start out by saying no shade, no shade to people who choose to work for $13 an hour for $40, 40 hours a week for other people. No shade whatsoever. But personally, me, I don't like to do it. I don't like to work for other people for the bare minimum and get paid the bare minimum. You know, like not having enough benefits, them not caring about your hours, not trying to work with or around your schedule, even though you have the experience. Got tired of it. So, I've been vlogging. I've been trying to keep myself up to date with what I've been doing, pretty much. So, I think the last time I had y'all up to date was PetSmart, my grooming journey, so. But I was keeping y'all in the loop with the PetSmart grooming journey, so I'll start with that. Let me get set up. I don't feel like going in my vlogging room, so I'm gonna just do it here. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna loop back around the PetSmart. So breaking news. Okay, breaking news. I don't like working for other people. Go figure. I don't like working for other people. So I'm gonna start off what happened with PetSmart. Hold on, I got more windows open. PetSmart, I'm loving it there. It was really nice. I was still a bather at the time. The store got a new manager, pretty much. And the manager came to me like within his first or second week working there. And he started to give me this whole spiel on how I'm not late, I'm not behind, I'm on time, like I'm on schedule to be going to the Groomers Academy. So I'm like, okay, I didn't even think about it, but I have been here for like damn near a year, and I haven't even really learned more than I learned when I was there. But the other people who've been there, they're out of the Groomers Academy already. And the salon was like probably 3 groomers deep at the time. So there was like 4 or 5 empty groomers tables. So they were looking for groomers to, you know, refill those spots. The girls I got hired with, they got pushed through the grooming academy. So when I came back, I was pretty much put on the back burner, and I didn't realize it because I didn't look up PetSmart reviews online. And now that I did, I'm gonna insert some and show y'all some. But PetSmart is known for PetSmart grooming salon. They're known for holding their bathers back so they can make money off their bathers. The bathers and the groomers don't split tips, which I didn't know that was not good, because a bather is pretty much supposed to prepare the dog for the groomer to cut the hair. On top of the bather already having a bunch of dogs just that need to be bathed, they have to do the groomer's dogs too. When the groomers get paid for it, they get paid commission and they get paid tips. They don't split those tips with the bathers. And when I started, I think one groomer did it at first, and I think she was told not to do it anymore. So, and I'm gonna get into how I learned that too, because I also worked for another mobile grooming salon. Yeah, first of all, yeah, the tip stuff, they overwork the bathers, and the bathers pay is like I was at $13 an hour, but most bathers get paid $10, $12 an hour when you have no experience. But I had experience coming from the Humane Society. I used to volunteer, work, and walk dogs. Since their salon was full, all the tables were full, they were new, like old bathers were coming back, and they were pushing them through the grooming academy since they already had the experience. So when I confronted my manager about it, the salon leader about it, I say real names on my channel, you already know. When I confronted Serena about it, she was like, yeah, no, you're not behind. I actually wanted to sit down and talk with you about a few things. So it's a day later, and she got all these papers in front of her, and she starts to tell me my numbers and my sales, my add-ons, they aren't adding up. Like my numbers aren't right for me to go to the academy. So I'm looking at her a little sideways, because I was like, I didn't know that my numbers had to do with me going to the academy. I was told when I was hired as a bather, you wash 100 to 200 dogs, and after that, you get pushed to the academy. You start learning how to trim paws, pads, and sanitary areas. You start learning how to do shave downs. And the academy is literally 2 weeks, 3 weeks of training at another store that qualifies to train. So it's just somebody else teaching you how to shave a dog. So rewind. So yeah, she's sitting me telling me that all of the add-ons, the service numbers, they aren't adding on, which means I'm not selling my customers the add-ons when they come in to drop their dog off. I didn't know that when somebody comes to drop their dog off, I need to say, hey, you know, it looks like your dog needs more and more of this, and I need to add more and more of that, or I'm gonna have to charge more and more handling fees and dematting fees and service fees. I didn't know PetSmart was like that. Nobody ever broke it down, nobody ever told me. So when she told me that, it didn't register to me until the next day, so that's when I was able to talk to her about it. I was just really shook, but at that moment, I did ask her, why wasn't I told this at the beginning? And she didn't have any answer. She didn't give me no straight answer. She didn't say, well, she just avoided my whole question. So the next day, I talked to the store leader, BJ. One thing about this store leader, I lived in a household with a white dad and a black mom, but my mom listens to white music, my dad listens to black music. I don't really do the whole racial stereotypical type, but when I seen this man, this Caucasian male with gold teeth, and he's walking around with his pants hanging, he looked like a stereotype. He looked like a white man that portrayed or wanted to be a black man. And he talked the same way. He used to come at me or make jokes about black movies or black people, and I brushed it off and I didn't really care much because I don't take offense to race easily. I really don't, but he did it as where I was supposed to understand. Like, he made jokes or he was doing commentaries to certain movies like Friday or some black leprechaun shit. I didn't grow up watching BET. I didn't grow up watching black people shit. So I never knew what he was talking about, and he still joked with me, and it got to the point where it was uncomfortable. So after a certain point in time, I didn't even talk to him. I didn't say hello. I didn't speak to him like that. And he picked up off that vibe. So the next day, I went to him as an employee to a manager, and I told him, you know, I was not aware of these extra service charges that I was supposed to be adding, these sales numbers that are supposed to be up. I wasn't aware of that. So he's all like, well, I honestly can't remember what he said, but I know he made some shit up. And he was like, well, I'm pretty much kept saying I'm on track. You know, I'm good. Well, at least I know now I can start working on it. So then I started to think more on the whole situation, because it started to make me feel a little uncomfortable that I was really doing a lot of work in the salon and it wasn't being recognized. I was doing a lot. I was washing other people's dogs, other bathers' dogs. I was cleaning up the salon all the time. I was doing what needed to be done, and yet nobody was properly training me. Nobody was paying me any attention because I guess I wasn't making it known, and I shouldn't have to make it known. Work ethic should pretty much make it known that I want to elevate where I am. So I started to push the topic on more to the store manager, and he ended up, I guess, brushing me off and getting a little frustrated. So he told me that he wanted to sit me and her down and have a meeting so we can straighten this all out. So in the meeting, I made sure, for the first thing that I said is, I didn't know I was behind until the store leader, BJ, came to me and told me that I'm not behind and that I was on track to go to the academy. If I wouldn't have known that, I wouldn't have known that I really am behind. And they're just sitting there just not ready for the next statement. So they're just saying shit, just making shit up, just freestyling. So after that, I started to feel a lot of hostility just when I walked in the store. Then I go back to the salon, a lot of hostility in there, because after I would be done doing something, Serena would give me more work to do. When there was no more work to do, she would ask me to go on the floor in PetSmart and stock shelves. And I would tell her, I don't get paid for that. I don't do that. So why do I have to do that? She didn't have anything to say. Everybody in the salon had a lot of stuff to say when I left. So from that day on, it was a lot more hostility. I started going in work, not really caring. Probably about 2-3 weeks later, she takes me off the schedule. And she usually always makes the schedule, you know, ahead of time, because at the time I had a second job. I was working at Westbury Animal Hospital as a animal care technician. So I told her I had a second job and that I'd be picking up more hours if, you know, PetSmart wasn't going to accommodate my needs and properly train me and show me attention. So she decided to take me off the schedule. And Sunday, I was only on the schedule, I think, for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like 4 or 5 days out, 3-4 days out the week. Okay, Sunday, I always check my schedule because I used to work Sundays. So I go in there, I'm like, okay, I'm not on the schedule. I guess she took me off the schedule. Okay, I'm not gonna ask her about it. I guess I have the week off. So I picked up a couple extra shifts with my other job. So I think it was Sunday night or Monday morning, she texted me and she's all like, here's your schedule. I forgot something. I forgot to make the schedule. I forgot to add you to the schedule. She says some stupid shit. And I look at my schedule and I'm like, I don't work these days. I don't work Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. I don't work these days, so I'm on a schedule. Oh, a bather quit so we need you to fill. Anytime somebody didn't show up or call in or came in late, I always came. Anytime they called me, I always came before that situation. So instead of her asking me, she decided to make something up and just add me to a schedule that I did not agree to. So I was like, okay, well, you didn't put me on the schedule, so I thought I had a week off and I already picked up extra hours with my other job. She's like, okay, well, you know, I can't do that legally. I can't give you a whole week off. So I wasn't about to do it. So I was just like, well, I'll see if I can make arrangements with my other job and I'll let you know. Boom. Can't make any other arrangements with my other job, so you gotta go. I texted her and I let her know, you know, your schedule fuck up. I should have been straight up and said all of, you know, everything that you was doing, all that petty shit, hostility. It was very unnecessary, but people like that know what they do. I decided to take myself and remove myself from the situation before I did get fired or something ended up happening very badly. So after that process, I got very discouraged on me grooming, me wanting to work with dogs, because it's one thing to, oh, you know, wash these dogs and make them look pretty, but it's another thing to fight the dogs throughout the whole time. Probably over 70% of the dogs any bather or groomer get, they're gonna fight you, and you have to restrain them a certain kind of way that makes them uncomfortable, and that might make them more aggravated. So I wasn't comfortable with that. I wasn't comfortable with the way PetSmart did things and how they handled their dogs and how they got away with a lot of stuff. One of the worst experiences working at PetSmart is when a dog had a seizure while I was giving him a bath. And when the pet parents came in, they were like, oh yeah, we tried to give him a bath before and he did the same thing, and we brought him to the vet and they said he was hose scared. Hose scared. Hose scared is a term used for dogs who are afraid of hoses, or like blow dryers. Like rabbits, when they hear loud noises, they may catch a heart attack and die. This big ass Australian shepherd caught a seizure and almost died. Luckily there's cameras everywhere so you can see things. There's waivers that people sign, but it could have been worse. So thank God it wasn't. So I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy working at PetSmart. I just didn't like the way their grooming system was set up. And after working there, I looked up a lot of different reviews on Indeed and on Google and Yelp or whatever. Every bather said the same thing, even a bather that I work for the mobile grooming service. So after that, you know, I was discouraged. I ended up getting my gun license. I ended up getting my level 3 security license because I was a security officer before COVID. And I figured, okay, since I already have the experience in that, let me just backtrack and see how it is working security again. Because back when I was working as a security officer, if you didn't have any experience but you had a gun license, you start off at $15 an hour at least. My biggest thing is the pay rate. If the pay rate starts at least $15, $16 an hour, I felt like I could elevate from that within 3 to 6 months, because that's how it was for any security company I had worked for. So while I was pregnant, one of the security companies that I mainly work for, Allied Universal, they didn't want to hire me. Well, this one guy, because he made excuses to not hire people. After COVID, everybody started to get more into the security business since there was more empty buildings than anything. So they lowered the pay rate for security officers, even unarmed security officers. When I was a security guard, I was getting paid $15 an hour when I first started. So I was up at $17 an hour when I ended, and this is before minimum wage was even raised to $13 an hour. So pretty much, yeah, back then the starting going rate for an unarmed security officer was about $14, $15 an hour, $16, $17 for armed. So I looked up different armed positions. You know, it was still kind of showing up 15, 16, but it wasn't showing anything past $15 an hour really. So I was like, okay. So I start to look at the qualifications for armed security officers who are getting paid over $14 an hour. They have to have at least 8 years of experience. You have to have your COVID vaccines, armed experience, just a lot of experience pretty much. So there's nowhere, at least in Texas, for a security guard to work over $13 an hour. Unarmed security officers are getting paid in between $9 and $12 an hour. So no. I worked at a security post, and it was at a Kelsey-Seybold clinic, and as a security guard for the past 5 years that I did work on and off as a security guard, I never did as much work as I did when I worked at that location. At the location, it was like a specialty clinic, so it was a lot of older people with a lot of really severe disabilities, veterans, people's families associated with the military or other services. It was a certain kind of health insurance, so you've seen a certain kind of people, I'll put it like that. But the people were heavily disabled, and some of the people made it to the appointments on their own, managed to drive, but when they get out the car and they're walking to the stairs, they're walking to the door, they don't seem to make it. So I was in all black, put in a picture, and it's over 100 degrees outside, and we're pushing these big disabled people up ramps, stairs, elevators, escalators, all this other stuff, and we're helping them. And it's me. All of the other girls were at least around my age or younger than me. There were 3 males. All of the males didn't do anything. They didn't want to do any of the heavy lifting. They just rode around on the go-karts. I directed traffic. I moved wheelchairs. I didn't want to sit in the box. I did that for years. Didn't feel like doing that again. So I feel like the more work I did, I feel like I'd earn it, but I can't remember. They were paying me $10 at that post. So, and at any other, because there's a lot of people that are capped right now that'll try and emphasize and say that security officers are getting paid more. No, honey. Security officers are not getting paid no more than $10 to $12 an hour, unarmed at least. If you are armed, I would say you're at least getting paid $14 an hour. Stop the cap. I'm making money. You're not. But if that's where certain people want to be for the rest of their life, y'all are good. But I almost got stuck in it. And I wasn't finna do it. So probably a week later, I was like, I'm not about to do this. And then towards the end, the supervisor used to constantly pass eyes at me or try and flirt with me. Old African guy. And it made me really uncomfortable. So I guess he felt the need to open up and talk to me about certain things that he didn't need to talk to at a job place. And that was religion. And I guess, you know, I come off as very professional, very sweet. Yeah, he started talking to me about religion, and I started telling him, once I learned that God or religion, the religion that my elders believe to be, it wants you to live life a certain way or you're going to hell, I was like, I stopped believing in that. And I just started talking and talking. And it was probably like 2 other people in there, like older people, and nobody said anything. And it was very uncomfortable. So I was just like, not everybody agrees, but you know, that's just the society we live in today. So I guess I made some old people uncomfortable. And yeah, so 2 days after that, I didn't go back, and I got a call from the security company saying that I did a no-call, no-show, so I was fired. So I told them, I was like, well, I made a report the day that I left, and I expressed that they were talking about something that made me very uncomfortable. And when I expressed my opinion about it, I got exiled, pretty much. Exiled by communication. So, but they didn't want to hear any of it, but I was like, at the end of the day, your security company sucks. The pay rate fucking sucks. It just sucks. So afterwards, in between, I was still discouraged. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I still want to work with animals, if I want to backtrack and go all the way to what I used to want to be in the past, like get into law enforcement. No, we're not even going to talk about that. But I know I love working with animals. So I really thought long and hard about it. I was like, okay, so let me see what else is available out there, because I know it's not just PetSmart. I applied at a Petco. I got the interview. They wanted to hire me, but I didn't like the environment. I didn't like the location. I didn't like really anything about it. And I think it's because I was used to PetSmart, and it's why people choose PetSmart over Petco. Employee-wise, Petco is better because after 6 months, they instantly put you through the grooming academy. But because of that reason, they only have so many open slots. But their salons are smaller, their services cost less, and it's for a reason. It's not, Petco, it's not that good. It's not as good as PetSmart, and I'll admit that. But working there wise, it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. So after that, I looked into a lot of independent groomers, mobile grooming places, and I got hired at a mobile grooming salon. I didn't know what to think. I thought they'd give me a tiny truck with a tiny trailer, but they were trying to give me a F-150 and an actual size trailer. I can barely back my car in, and my car don't even have a booty. If y'all know what a booty is on a car. My car don't even have a booty. I can't even back my car in. So the first day of me working there, somebody accidentally backs into a basketball goal. Somebody's blow dryer in their mobile grooming trailer blows up. So they had a dog that was just soaking wet, sitting there for hours until somebody could show up, which had to reschedule all of their other appointments. It was just a lot of stuff that happened. And then while I was working in there, I seen how the dogs were treating the manager, and she only handles the aggressive dogs. But I seen how the dog was handling her, and it made me think, I've never worked with dogs like that on my own. So if a dog just lash out, which they do, you could have the nicest dog, but if you touch a part of their body they don't like, they will lash out and they will not let you touch them again. What would I do? I don't think I would be prepared for that situation. But I kept an open mind because anything is possible. And I just went with it. So she was handling the dogs worse than how they were handling the dogs in PetSmart. She was like, it's just y'all in here, so if you have to handle the dog, you know, any way you need to, you do it like this, you do it like that, stop. It didn't feel right. I didn't say anything. It was me and it was another girl in there. The girl had experience with moving horses and trailers. So she had experience with moving trailers and trucks, but she didn't have bathing experience. I had the experience. So I felt like it was only certain things they needed to teach me. And this lady who started her own company probably a few years ago, about 7 to 10 years ago, she said she had about 5 to 6 trucks, a really good clientele. You know, the houses were beautiful. Some of the houses had about a dozen dogs. It was a lot of freaking dogs in some of those houses. But I just didn't like moving from place to place and being 100% liable for somebody else's property, because accidents do happen. And we were sitting in the car and she was telling us about how some people will try and brake check her because she's a company car and they can get paid, or some people will, you know, just try and piss her off so they can get money and they can create and cause accidents. No, I was like, no, but I did pick up and I did learn a lot of stuff. But afterwards, it didn't occur to me that I could do that. A lot of people kept telling me, you know, why don't you take the experience that you have with dogs and grooming dogs and just start your own thing? And my biggest thing was the experience. But I didn't realize, even at PetSmart, when they didn't teach me, there was a lot of other people showing me things, a lot of other workers that, you know, showed me things that the manager didn't want to show me. So I picked up what I did learn as far as paw pads, sanitary, shave downs, nail trims, bath, regular blow dries, brushes, de-shedding, dematting, anal gland expressions, all of that of the sorts, and I put that to use. So one day I went online and I went on an app. It's like a neighborhood community app, and I posted a post saying that I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm looking to make some extra income. I really wasn't expecting for the amount of feedback. I wasn't expecting for any feedback. But apparently, since my prices were so affordably low, everybody was like, grab it and go for it. So it took off. So from then on, I had about over 100 people contacting me. But in situations like that, when you have contacting you, asking you for services, only a certain amount of people is gonna book. So there in that 1 week, at least 10 to 15 people booked, maybe 20, because at least a couple of them canceled, changed their mind. And I realized I needed to get equipment. I realized I needed to get tools and supplies, towels, shampoos, brushes, clippers. I realized I needed to get a lot of stuff. So Within one weekend, the first 2 days, I think I made a little over $200. So I put that to use and I invested in my little business. And I got a grooming, I got a couple of things, I'll put it like that. So my little fitness room, I'm turning it into a salon room slowly but surely, and hopefully in the fall I'm gonna be able to turn my garage into a salon room. But so I have been making little short snippet videos of you know what I've been doing. So I may like just attach those together and create a whole little vlog set thing. But I pretty much just wanted to touch base because I've been busy. I've been so busy that by the end of the day, I am tired. I cannot pick up my phone. I can't record, I can't talk. I cleared my schedule this morning. I moved my schedule, and that's the great thing about working for me and talking to people the way that I want to talk to people, especially if they understand the circumstances. So I am very content with where I am, and I'm looking forward to growing my business. You know, where there's positives, there's always negatives. Where there's supporters, there's always haters. There's always people that are gonna speak nothing but negativity on your progress or on where you are, on where you wanna be. So those are the type of people that I choose to not really respond to or not really acknowledge, because I know where my real support is. And my real support, he created my business page, my Google website thingy, created my business cards, all of that. Y'all know who it is. But, and it sucks that better that you do is also gonna be the amount of negativity that comes back, especially in a place that does something like what I do as far as grooming dogs. When you cut a dog, or if you scrape a dog, or if you nip a dog, you can't go back. So there's a lot of things that I'm still learning about the business, that it's the reason I never wanted to start my own business. And I'll say that too. I never wanted to start my own business. I never wanted the responsibility of working for myself. I never wanted that weight on my shoulders, because I just seen what it can cost you. Yeah, just keep y'all up to date. Get into more detail on my next vlog, but this is just a pretty much what's been going on for me, because I've been busy. So y'all stay tuned. I might include some little videos, some snippets after this video, or probably one. I don't know. I'm gonna put something after this video so y'all can see what I do. I'm gonna keep y'all in the loop.
Honey. Honey. honey.